Do you have any fun skating anecdotes?
Skating?
Yeah.
When we initially were doing the first run of Evil Dead musical at IUP,
Oh yeah.
I had the idea because there's a disco number where all the zombies. It's like the big Ash kills the Deadites song right after they like do their ritual dance. That is the Henry Winkler reference. And I thought, wouldn't it be really funny if we were on roller skates?
Right. It has been done in that space before.
Yeah.
It's not a good idea.
No, well, especially not with like the vast amounts of soapy blood that we had.
Oh God.
And the fact that we would have had to get these skates on in a matter of 45 seconds.
Oh dear.
But it would have been great.
It would have been pretty cool.
What space was this performed in?
A 65-seat black box. 65?
Oh, the black box under Waller?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh man.
I missed that space.
Yeah. I enjoyed that space. It was a good time.
I want to say there's a play called Xanadu, right?
Yeah.
I want to say Rob Hockenberry has been on the show.
Yeah.
A friend from our Cats episode. Yes.
Yeah, I think he directed that our sophomore year. He and I sophomore year.
Yeah.
Huh.
And they're skating in that.
Yes.
I want to say
there would have to be, right?
I forget how associated it is with actual Xanadu because it's very much like LGBT.
Right.
You know, friendly show.
So he and I went. They're both 1X. So like he did his, and then I did my show. I think No Exit. I was in it. I didn't direct it. Kelly directed it.
Okay.
Yeah. So you got like Jean-Paul Sartre with Xanadu.
Yeah, Xanadu.
I want to say I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure that's
right.
That makes me really happy.
Gay people are the norm, and straight people are like the minority, and so it's like wrong to be straight. So they just flip it. But I don't know why it's called Xanadu. I don't remember.
There was a really.
It might have nothing to do with it.
It's interesting. Yeah, I was gonna say that seems like a departure.
Because even Xanadu is not very like. It's not
LGBT.
Yeah, it's not that it's against it. It's
no, there's certainly there's definitely nothing like queer antagonistic in there.
It's very fabulous.
Yeah,
but
it's quite fabulous.
The characters are pretty underground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Musical.
Man, I'll have to tell Robbie to do it again since I don't remember what happened. I was too busy being very, very serious. Hell is other people. Xana don't. Welcome to DeRazzled, the podcast that takes award-winning worst films and fixes them. I'm host Jack Culbertson. Here's suffering alongside me as always. Is also host Jim Nealis.
Right back at it again.
All the movies on DeRazzled won Worst Picture at the Razzies the year they were released. He lied, only slightly. The Razzies, for those of you who don't know, are something of a reverse Oscars. They recognize the worst film of the year. Once again, we are joined by special guest Caleb Feigles of the Making A Martini podcast.
Hell yeah.
It's me.
Continuing with the Razzies, the DeRazzled's new format, we are now on part 2 of Xanadu. Last week, we discussed whether or not it deserved the hate. We said, fuck you.
Basically. Yeah. It deserved the nominations, but not the hate.
Yes. Correct. And now today, we're going to figure out what went wrong before we fix it. But before we do that, what exposure to Xanadu did you have before now?
I saw it when I was super, super young. It was like one of the things that, like my mom and my aunt, they gave me things like Cry Baby, Grease 2.
Hell yeah.
Like these like offbeat type musicals, and this was one of them. So I saw it very young, understood none of it. And in fact, when I was younger, I don't think I really actually enjoyed it.
I could see it, yeah.
With everything except like the actual like songs. I was like, yeah, this is cool, but understanding no point of the plot.
I could see if I was like a little guy, I could bounce right off this.
Yeah. Like I would say like 7, 8, 9, somewhere in that. That realm.
It is from 1980, so it is a little older.
Yeah.
And the pace is a little slower because it is an older film.
Right. But I've come back to it as I think I saw it again in college. It was on Netflix or something.
Sure.
And then I watched it and I went, this is fantastic. And then I saw the musical.
I had heard about it because, as we were just saying, our friend Rob directed Xanadu stage play, and he's like, it's a reference to Xanadu, and I was like, from Citizen Kane? Kind of, no.
Oh, of course you did that. Of fucking course.
No? Okay.
Yeah.
Stately Pleasure Dome?
Yeah.
He's like, not quite.
Well, I mean, they do make the
They do
Stately
reference-
Pleasure Dome
yeah.
of Kubla Khan reference.
Yeah,
so,
They do.
at least for a moment.
So it's set in the same universe as Citizen Kane.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I believe this is the sequel.
You didn't see all the Charles Foster Kane memorabilia hiding in the big abandoned warehouse in that Art Deco building? There's just a bunch of Kane posters in the background.
That is what they did with the uncut footage of Citizen Kane.
You didn't notice the shot of Orson Welles just wandering back from Crafty in the movie?
Honestly, if they had asked Orson Welles to be in it and just be one of the random magicians in the background,
Oh my God.
200% he would have done it.
If he'd been one of the weirdos in zoot suits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
One of the mimes. One of the juggling mimes.
Yes.
He specifically, I think the first attempt at Casino Royale, he's in it as a magician, and they're like, I will be in it, but only if you let me do magic the whole time. Because he's a huge fan of like
Close-up magic and
Close-up
shit?
magic,
Really?
yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's a
Love
terrible
that.
film.
With the original Casino Royale.
Yeah.
Oh my
It's-
God.
Peter Sellers wanted to do a serious Bond film. And
Sure.
everybody's like, but you're Peter Sellers.
But you're Peter Sellers. Yeah.
Do the Pink Panther thing. He's like, no. And they're like,
I don't wanna.
well, you should. And he's like, bye. So he, if I remember, and this was years ago that I watched this, I want to see he like rides over the hill and just explodes. Like he just,
What?
they just have like Peter Sellers. It's not Peter Sellers, just like it's standing.
Sure.
Like ride over the hill. It explodes. Like
Oh
Monty
my.
Python style.
And then the writer had a severe heart attack and
Pretty
died.
much. And then one of the earlier characters, who's supposed to be like a previous iteration of James Bond,
Takes over.
takes over. But there's a scene with Orson Welles doing like card tricks and shit.
Jesus Christ.
So, Joe.
My exposure to Xanadu?
Yes.
So I had virtually no exposure to Xanadu, this version of Xanadu, for a very long time, aside from hearing it referenced in other things, which I think the earliest mention of it I had heard was maybe in an episode of Hey Arnold, now that I think about it. And I had always, for some reason, thought that all the music was by ABBA and not ELO, which I think other people, I think I got that from somebody else at some point down along the line. So whoever that was, you were wrong and you made me wrong. And then, of course, I had seen Citizen Kane in college, and I started making that connection. Right. But of course, this is nothing. Obviously, this is a perfect sequel, 10 out of 10. Except that it has nothing to do with it whatsoever. This was my very first time watching this movie for this show, and I told you guys about this, but I just want to say this on the air just so that the words exist for other people. I saw it this past Saturday. In the afternoon, I had gone with some friends to see Jordan Peele's Nope, which I loved. I thought it was fantastic. I followed that up by going to Mr. Small's Theater to see famed long-running New Jersey post-hardcore band Thursday, which, if you're aware of Thursday, you know that their music is nothing like Electric Light Orchestra.
Could you sing us a verse? I'm not familiar.
No, I'm not going to sing. I'm not going to sing. My throat's still not feeling great from actually being at the show.
Is it
more high pitched that. Yeah, yeah, you nailed it. Oh God. Yeah. So then I got home and I realized, the next day we're going to Becca's parents to stay overnight for Labor Day shenanigans with her family. So I looked at her and I said, "You want to watch Xanadu?" So we wrapped up Saturday with watching this, and I was the utter tone whiplash, both of my day and of all the shit at the end of Xanadu. Made for a weird night's sleep.
If you didn't listen to the first part, It's baffling. I'm not sure why you're here. I mean, stay if you
Why
want
do you
to, but I
keep
would
doing this?
recommend you go back to part 1, where we cover what the movie Xanadu is and what happens in it, what did and did not work for Xanadu. Wonderful. So before we try to figure out what the fuck happened,
Because there's so much.
because there's a lot. We covered a little bit in the first part. Caleb, what drink did you mix for us today?
Oh, this is it's my favorite beverage. It's a fine aged Snoop Dogg themed 19 Crimes wine. I already don't remember what type of wine it is.
I believe the bottle said Cali Red.
Okay, a nice blend. A nice blend for us this evening as we mull on the inner workings of Xanadu.
Snoop threw a bunch of red wine into a jug and said, "This is it."
Just kind of dipped the bottle into a bathtub full of
And said, Xanadu,
It's actually jungle juice. Just Snoop walked into a frat house and dipped this into a bathtub. Actually, this is pretty good.
It's not bad. It is much stronger than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I went.
That's how wine works, Jack.
Mildly buzzed to being like, I'm tipsy now.
Yeah. It's a little warm.
Should preface that I don't drink wine.
No, I've never seen you drink wine.
Ever. So this is an experience.
Yeah.
It normally makes me throw up, which is why I don't drink it.
Oh no.
But I think if this amount, has become ugly and not throw up-y.
Yeah.
Thanks, Snoop. Joe, would you help them remember, never remember? I'm pushing it.
All right. Apparently. So yeah, in case you forgot, which you should never do, as Jack just said, remind your friends and family and loved ones to listen to the show, to subscribe, and please rate and review the show wherever you possibly can to help us get higher up in them search rankings, much like our dear friends at Decaying with the Boys, a fellow Pittsburgh-based podcast who has rated several of our episodes 5 stars on Good Pods. So thank you guys.
Yeah, do that. So here's the issue with trying to fix this movie. I don't want to.
You did mention that. Yeah, I'm still kind of in shock that you like this as much as you did. Like, again, I didn't hate it, but it is wild.
I love the effects. I love the poster. I love
It's a good poster.
The letter font type.
All right. I didn't expect you to get into the graphic design of the poster here, but
I love that Gene Kelly actually tried.
He did try.
I enjoyed seeing Michael Beck from The Warriors. He wasn't my favorite performance, but
he wasn't terrible, but he was like the weak link out of the main cast, I'd say.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I like the subplot of him being a record enlarger painter and having his other like art league chums, taking jabs at him and
asking him for weird X-rated explanations of things.
Yeah. I do have to ask that's happened to you before, right? Maybe not like at work, but you've never had anybody like, hey, give me the details.
Oh sure, yeah. I've had
just like that.
Oh sure, I've had friends like ask me like, so what happened? Kiss and tell, but never like, hey, tell it to me like a porno.
Huh? We have different.
Xanadu the porno. Xanadu me.
That would be it. It would absolutely be the title.
Or a late night show. Tales from the Bathhouse.
Absolute hazard because of the roller skates.
I was thinking about opening up this with Tales from a local bar. Belvedere's used to have roller skate night. Maybe they still do. I don't know. I've been there in years.
They might. I mean, now that they're like actually open and operational post-COVID, like they might. I know they have all the dance nights again.
They have disco night.
Okay,
so
that
they
makes
should
sense.
have roller night.
So when I was going, they were very like dive bar, and I loved it.
Oh, they're still that.
Are they still dive
Oh,
bar?
absolutely.
Okay.
Come on, man.
They caught fire, and then they renovated for like a year, and I'm like, you're gonna make it bougie.
No, they absolutely did not make it bougie. I've been post renovation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe not post COVID, but post renovation.
Uh-huh.
It's not bougie at all. It's absolutely still a wood covered dive bar.
Yeah.
The floor's still sticky, and it also on the back bar still has that picture of Marge Simpson, Lois Griffin, Peggy Hill, and Linda Belcher, nude and in corpse paint, playing in a metal band together.
Okay, so they've not lost their.
They've not. No, not at all.
They used to have skate nights, and
I've been to one.
Sign or release,
Mhm.
And it's not a huge bar, but you would go around in a circle, and they kind of like push all the furniture to the outer rim so that you'd have some kind of crash.
A bit of a barrier.
Yeah.
Somebody did crash into their TV.
Naturally.
The old wood, like, it died.
Yeah.
The
TV died, not the
TV
person.
died. Oh, right. Well, that's why they signed the waivers. If it died, doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, you waive them of all responsibility.
I think I thought the person died, but was like,
I thought I was just clarifying for the audience.
Well, you clarified for me too.
Okay, there we go. I've provided a service.
So I don't know how we got here, but the point is, I don't want to change this movie. But I will, I think the only reason it's considered as bad as it is because one, it was part of the Razzies. It was part of the first Razzies.
Yeah, one of the 10 original nominees for Worst Picture.
It's fucking weird.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look at some of those movies on that list, it is kind of weird. We're covering another one next month.
What are we covering?
Friday the 13th.
Oh yeah. But I think the only reason we even are really aware of it is because it was put on a list of like, these are the worst movies of the year, and it's fabulous.
Yeah.
And click with a certain audience.
Sure.
So instead of talking like, hey, what went wrong here? Because like there's some things that went wrong, but nothing so egregious that you're like, oh, that's why it is the way it is. It's more like, it was a movie. Some stuff went right, some stuff went wrong, but most people just didn't connect with it.
Sure.
I'm going to go through some, factoids.
Let's do it.
Love a fact.
And annoyed.
Yeah.
Gene Kelly. What a diva.
I can only imagine.
So,
when you have the career that he's had, come on.
If you don't think you know Gene Kelly, you do. He's Singing in the Rain, motherfucking Gene Kelly. Yeah. So when he signed on to this movie, he said, I'm not going to dance. I'm not dancing. I'll be in the movie, not going to happen. But then he's like, kind of getting into, he's like, all right, I guess I'm not tapping. And then kind of got into it, like connect with Olivia Newton-John.
All right, I guess I'll tap.
I guess I'll tap.
Again, the set was really close to his house, so he's like, I guess I'll be in the movie. It's just down the road. He was very pissed that in the last scene at Xanadu when it's opening, he skates, but the way that it's shot, you don't see his feet. He's like,
yeah,
I'm like 600 years old and I skated and you cut my feet off. He's not happy about it.
Understandable, yeah, because I did not think that they would have him do that because he was ancient.
Oh, yeah. So he was in some stuff after this.
I will say he looked good for his age.
No, yeah, he looks.
Oh yeah,
very good. He did a couple of TV episodes, but this was his last feature.
Yeah, he popped up in some like compilation films of some sort, but like there's nothing on the scale of a feature length.
So as I mentioned in the first half, there were some script issues that involved the writer being locked in his house for 3 days with the producer like sneaking guard.
Oh my god.
Joel Silver, we'll get to him.
Joel Silver, I feel like I recognize that name.
I want to say he did the Lethal Weapon series.
That might be why. Okay.
He's very much like the reproducer that you envision of this time.
So now I'm just picturing John Peters again, and
he's like if like a skin flake of John Peters fell off and became sentient.
That's Joel Silver. Okay.
There's an X-Men villain like that. fucking
Of
good.
course there fucking is.
It's also a Grant Morrison creation.
Of course it is!
It's gross. So one of the big issues that they ran into with the script was that it was originally written to be like a low budget roller disco, kind of like roller disco is very popular at the moment. Let's jump on this.
Capitalizing on a trend.
Yeah. The problem was that 2 movies beat them to it. That's Skate Town, USA and Roller Boogie, which were both 1979.
But indelible classics that we'll love and cherish until the day we die. I've totally seen each of them 69 times a piece.
If I had more time, and I'll get to this, I absolutely would have watched Skate Town, USA.
Okay.
Because there's an actor in it that we'll get to, and I watched just his scene, and it is phenomenal.
Okay.
So I might like a little tipsy after you guys leave, just like watch Skate Town. But because these 2 movies basically did what they wanted to do, that's when they're like, okay, we're going to incorporate the whole like early 40s musical movie thing with the early 80s, kind of mishmashed them together. So it's at least somewhat unique.
Okay.
So I forgot to actually have a quote from Joel Silver from when he notoriously locked his writer up. The son of a bitch wouldn't deliver, so I locked him in.
That's actually what he said? Like he's quoted as saying that?
Yeah.
Dude!
Continuing that trend. So the movie was originally budgeted for $4 million, but ended up costing $13 million, which is not that much, but for 1980s, plus when you're expecting a $4 million budget, and it comes out to 13, that's not great. So Universal head Ned Taryn fired Joel Silver.
Wow.
Who immediately went to work for his friend and mentor, Lawrence Gordon, who is also a producer on Xanadu.
Yes.
Who then immediately hired him back on.
Lawrence Gordon, who we've also encountered already, he was one of the producers attached to Superman Lives for a little while.
It all comes back to that fucking movie.
I
know! So, while I very much like the effects that are in the movie,
yes,
the director, Robert Greenwald, Joel Silver, and Victor Kemper, they wanted better effects. They were like aware that like even for 1980, those effects are pretty antiquated.
Oh, sure.
Like keep in mind, Empire Strikes Back came out in 1980.
Yeah.
And while that had like a much higher budget, still, the problem was that Universal Pictures, who released this movie, bumped the release date from summer of 1980 to Christmas.
Oh, this was a Christmas release. Yeah. Oh, that's weird.
Or I'm sorry, reverse. That doesn't make any sense. Why would that?
Wait, did they pull it forward? Like they released it earlier than expected? They shortened the timeline?
My notes say released from Christmas of 1980 to summer of 1980.
Yeah, so that means they shortened the timeline on them. Holy shit.
Yeah.
They cut production time for them.
And normally the effects are the last thing to get done.
That would explain part of that. Yeah, that's some crunch bullshit right there.
So while the movie didn't do super well, the soundtrack did really well.
Well, it's ELO.
It's ELO.
Of course. Fucking Mr. Blue Sky, man.
Yeah.
But also, I think Magic was just Olivia Newton-John, right? I don't think that was an ELO song. And it hit #1 in U.S. pop singles. And
wow. Good for her.
#2 at the UK, and the single Xanadu was 1 for 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yeah, and like it's a pretty good soundtrack.
It is a good soundtrack.
It's not bad at all. Yeah, I don't know that it necessarily fit for like a narrative, but it was fun. Right. It was a fun soundtrack.
And we kind of mentioned in the first part that the ELO songs, at least, were just like had already been written.
They just had them.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. Jeff. Help me. Lynn, maybe. Anyway, the ELO of Electric Light Orchestra,
Mr. ELO.
Mr. ELO.
Yeah.
Had these songs lying around. He's like, I was gonna put them in an album at some point, but like if you want them,
Jeff Lynne.
Okay. And I think he did like one original song for the movie. The rest was already like pre-made. And then, so yeah, not bad for a bunch of songs that were just lying around.
Yeah, just happened to.
So Olivia Newton-John broke her ass.
Broke her ass?
Yeah, she.
Do you mean tailbone or do you mean ass?
Well, I mean ass. I never not mean ass. but I also mean coccyx.
Okay, yeah. Sure.
During the dance sequence for Suddenly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the one with the trees and the lights and the rainbow.
So.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Because Magic was the other one where she was doing like actual, like, I thought very impressive skate skills where she just like would spread her legs and do like almost a split and just like turn sideways.
Yeah.
Okay,
there was some
up.
advanced skate moves in the midst of that.
Yeah.
That might have been with a broken ass.
Yeah.
Because she didn't stop. She was just like, well, my ass is broken now. I guess we're going to keep going.
I'm just going to cry through the pain and skate through the pain, I guess, and cry in the trailer afterwards.
Yeah. One of our, well, really the only actor that we're like, hey, you're not really working for us was Michael Beck.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was not the first choice, and as we said in the first part, he was also just like given the. They're like, you don't have to audition, you just show up. Here's the time and date.
Please, just if we put you on the call sheet, will you fucking be here?
Yeah. He's like, that I can do. And honestly, from working on film sets, that can get you a job pretty easily. Like, you show up here and at this time, you're hired.
There have been moments on our films where I've been like, can we just like ask a guy if he'll do this, and then if he shows up, we pay him. There
was a set that I was on where I started as a PA, and was by the end of it, so many people fucked up that I was assistant producer. I'm like, I just showed up and something to do, kids. Anyway, so Michael Beck, originally his part, Sonny, was given to Andy Gibb.
Andy Gibb, that name sounds familiar.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but he's a musician. He dropped out. He had the role. Would you like to guess who Olivia Newton-John wanted for the role?
John Travolta.
John Travolta was shooting something else at the time.
Real quick, I just want to point out Andy Gibb of the Bee Gees.
Thank you.
That's where he was from. Okay, John Travolta was shooting something else. Who did Olivia Newton-John want?
Mel Gibson.
No. Fuck off. No.
You gotta have those Aussie.
God. Yeah, I was gonna say there's that Aussie connection. No, I'm gonna cut that.
Yeah.
That Aussie connection. There it is. Oh God, no.
I don't know when the first Mad Max was done, but I'm curious to know if he had accepted the part, if it would have like wiped out his chances of future stardom.
So, I mean, the first Mad Max came out like the year prior. That was 79. And then the second one came out in 81. Okay. So I don't know if he would have been busy like immediately filming sequels after that.
Mad Max Xanadu.
Oh my God. Can you fucking imagine Mel Gibson of all people in a musical?
I can't. Yes,
I don't think I want to.
No. Even roll it back to before we knew he was a racist, anti-Semitic piece of shit. Like, no, like, I can't fathom it. His like recognition as an actor is, I think, far too wrapped up in action and comedy.
And here's why we all have Hugh Jackman to thank for breaking that barrier down. Because if I had only ever watched like X-Men, X2, X-Men United, you betcha.
X-Men You Betcha was a particularly good entry in the series.
It was.
Just I don't think Jerry Seinfeld gets enough credit for directing that one.
Directing and starring as Apocalypse.
As Apocalypse, I know, it was weird. I don't understand how they fucked up Oscar Isaac's Apocalypse after Jerry Seinfeld nailed it. So
anyway, so Hugh Jackman was Wolverine, and then he also does a shit ton of musicals.
One of the dumbest things I've ever said in my life. Just
they also looked at Peter Frampton.
Wow, they're really digging into the musician pool here.
Which So Michael Beck didn't do any of the. There is a male singer in some of the songs.
Yeah.
That aren't ELO, and it's not him.
Oh, is he voice dubbed?
He's voice dubbed.
Oh, they pulled a Rocky on him.
Well, they don't even really.
Again, not Rocky Balboa, Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
There's got to be a mashup somewhere. Like, there's got to be a deep fake somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny as hell.
But I don't remember if Michael Beck ever even sings on screen. I think it's all like background
voiceover
music.
It might just be background stuff, or like while he's in motion skating or stuff like that.
But I wonder if they had gone with like an Andy Gibb or Peter Frampton, which are all like musicians my mom had a crush on in high school.
Of course.
If they would have done more like a traditional musical where they're singing on screen.
Oh, they absolutely would have, because they you know that they have the talent. You know that they have the ability to do that. Who dubbed him?
I cannot remember.
You have it written down?
I do not.
Ah.
Because I didn't care.
Yeah, fair.
Do you want to know why Peter Frampton was turned down?
Yes.
The producers at Universal
told him he couldn't use a talk box.
Couldn't use a talk box, and he was like, well then fuck it. Have you ever heard of the 1979 film Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band?
Yeah, of course.
It's garbage.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's really bad, especially if you don't know the Beatles are not in it, and you go in
expecting for the Beatles. Yeah,
like I did in college. I was like, "What the fuck is this shit?" Anyway, that feeling that I just had, that was the same feeling the Universal producers had. And they're like, no, I'm still mad at you for that movie.
Peter Frampton, why do I know that? No!
Also considered was a gentleman called David Newton, I want to say.
David Newton.
So he was considered for the part after the director had seen a Dr. Pepper commercial.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah. He was busy shooting Midnight Madness, which is a movie I've never heard of. Other people considered were Steve Guttenberg.
The Goots!
Griffin Dunn and Michael, I can never say his last name, Michael Bien? From Terminator. Biehn.
Michael Biehn?
Biehn, maybe?
Biehn?
He was
Biehn? I'm starting to get tipsy. I'm sorry.
I could not tell. The Game with the Boys just suggested that Passion of the Christ could have been a musical.
I'd have liked it a lot fucking more, actually. That idea fucking rules.
And lasers.
They put if there were lasers in it, I absolutely would have sat through the movie.
Yeah.
I would have enjoyed my time sitting through it much more.
Yeah.
If all of the blood were lasers, or like glowed like neon at the end.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, Michael Biehn from Terminator and I think Aliens.
Interesting. Okay. It's quite a mix of people considered before Michael Beck took over.
I have to imagine everyone was like, no,
Absolutely.
no, absolutely not.
Imagine going to an actor trying to explain this plot of this movie and be like, so you down?
The only thing we can really do is we got Gene Kelly, we got Olivia Newton-John. Those are the only positives.
Yeah.
Can you sing? Can you dance? Can you roller skate? No, that's if you still want it.
There wasn't somebody at that point in time who was willing to like pull a Val Kilmer in like the Island of Dr. Moreau and be like, no, I want to work with Brando. No one was like, no, I want to work with Kelly.
That's strange to me.
Yeah, right.
Say what we will about Michael Beck, but he could at least roller skate.
I'll give him that. Yeah.
So Olivia Newton-John turned down 2 roles in order to take Xanadu. The first one is like dodge a bullet. It can't stop the music.
Oh my god! I was wondering if that was going to be on the list there. Okay, what's the other one?
The Blues Brothers.
The Blues Brothers.
I don't know.
Holy shit!
Had, but
oh my god. I'm curious. That's
the movie that John Travolta was busy working on was Urban Cowboy.
Okay.
Which I think wasn't that like one of the first NC-17 films?
Yeah.
Are you getting that confused with Midnight Cowboy? Because I just had a big conversation with all of Becca's family yesterday where they all got those movies confused, and that was fun.
I mean, I've never seen Urban Cowboy, but I've seen Midnight Cowboy, and it's amazing. I think they're both rated MC-17.
I'll have to look into that further.
Please do. So Matt Lattanzi had a minor role in the film. Afterwards, he accompanied Olivia Newton-John back to Australia on like a promotional film thing, and to meet her parents, and they got married. They were married until 1995. She cheated on him constantly, but they were married until 1995.
Hey.
Neat.
Yeah. Here's the part where I turn things over to you to discuss the musical.
Oh, before we get into that, there's one more thing about the production I would like to mention. The choreography was largely tackled by one Kenny Ortega. Yes. Do either of you recognize that name? Caleb almost choked on his wine. So Caleb,
I did not know that.
Oh, Caleb, where do you know the name Kenny Ortega from?
Oh, gosh, fill in the blank. Well, I know for sure the first time I ever actually knew who he was High School Musical.
Yes, he is. He directed all the High School Musical movies, as well as the trilogy of Descendants movies that came out within the last few years, which is the musicals from the perspective of the Disney villains' children.
Which do surprisingly well.
Live action films,
yes,
on Disney Plus, or just like
they were like Disney Channel originals. They were Disney Channel originals, but are now on Disney Plus. They're bonkers.
Yeah.
Are any of them good? Are any of them so bad they're good?
Probably.
Yeah. Does Hades reproduce?
Yes, I think. I'm not entirely sure.
Hades is one.
Hades appears.
Maleficent is one.
Maleficent definitely has a kid.
She's a hard dog.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's a thing called pegging, and she does it.
Yeah, absolutely. And
she actually got pregnant, but you
know. So appropriately, Maleficent's kid falls for Belle and Beast's kid.
Sure, but Ursula
also has a kid.
All right.
Yep.
I mean, you've sold me.
Yeah.
I'm mad about it.
Captain Hook has a kid, and Captain Hook's kid holds his father's hook in his hand.
Oh dear.
It's silly. Like Gaston's son is a fucking himbo.
I like that. Actually, I like that.
Kenny Ortega also directed several episodes of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, which if you have not watched that, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Better than it has any right to be.
What's her face is in it? Jessica Jones?
No.
Rachel Bloom?
No, I'm thinking something.
No, it's Rachel Bloom is the lead actress and creative force behind all of it. You're thinking Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23, which is what Kristen Ritter is in. This is A Crazy Ex-Girlfriend is Rachel Bloom and several other people whose names I'm forgetting, but it is excellent.
So Kenny Ortega did a lot of choreography after this. I think
choreography and directing.
Yeah, there was a
Dirty Dancing.
I believe so. Yes.
There was like a terrible Making of Xanadu special that I watched. It was very much like Making of Xanadu put out by the people who are promoting Xanadu. So it was a bunch of, But I want to say that Kenny Ortega became buds with Gene Kelly on set.
Oh, I believe that.
And was kind of like mentored by him.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
I love that.
Yeah. As much of a pain in the dick as Gene Kelly sounds like he was, he also sounds like he was a delight.
Yeah.
He just very much sounds like, oh, you know exactly the weight that you have.
Yes.
And are throwing it around.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he was self-aware.
Yeah. So last factoid before I turn it over to you to talk about the musical. Just in case anybody was wondering, Olivia Newton-John passed away on the 42nd anniversary of this movie's release.
Yeah.
Really?
On the actual day?
August 8th.
I had no idea. That's wild.
They came and got her. Came back there.
Hell.
42 years.
Rest in peace. That's oof.
One for Olivia.
Yeah. So I'm going to take my last sip here.
To Olivia. And her cankles.
I gotta say, Snoop makes a decent red wine.
He does.
He does.
Yeah.
So the musical.
Yes. So I've been excited to bring up just at least how the musical starts, because everything that we've said that we were like, I wish they would have done this, I wish they would have done that, they do in the musical.
Amazing.
So the whole thing starts with him actually drawing the mural on like the ground where all the music's come from.
Oh, okay.
So it's really cool because they all just rise out of the floor.
That rules.
Yeah.
That absolutely rules. Oh, that'd be such a cool set piece to see happen.
Yeah.
Oh.
So each muse is a different muse of something. So it's like one's the muse of dance, one's the music of art, singing, other ones. Mischief is one. I don't know, whatever the 9 are. And they are the ensemble throughout the entire show.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
So they bring in each element of what happens in the actual story.
Can I interrupt for 1 second?
Yeah.
I just realized that we didn't cover this thing that I had put a pin in what didn't work. So is Olivia Newton-John's muse the muse of capitalistic ventures? Because it feels really weird for this Greek muse to be like, you need to open this club for people to come and consume in.
Yes.
Okay. So as long as we have that straightened out.
The 8th muse is capitalism.
Known capitalistic force, ancient Greece.
Yeah. But yeah, so each muse is a different thing, and then she's I think she winds up actually being the muse of love or art or passion. I don't know, something like that.
It's not Terpsichore.
No, they say her name.
Terpsichore is the muse of dance.
Oh.
And in the movie, she starts to say her name, which is she gets as far as Terp.
That's about as far as she gets. She is cut off like, I don't care, I don't love you.
You're not a big goddess. Whereas I think the musical, she's name is entirely different.
Yeah.
Muse.
I think it's Calliope.
Calliope, okay. That's a name I at least have like a mild familiarity with.
History or something.
Yeah. Maybe it's not Calliope. Calliope is one of the characters, but in the opening number, she does say that she's here to help this Sunny to find artistic integrity and achievement and all this stuff.
Through capitalistic endeavor.
But she's going to disguise herself as a fun roller skating Australian girl with leg warmers. That's the other thing. The musical really does take digs at all the right aspects of the movie.
That's pretty great.
Olivia Newton-John's like accent, singing voice, everything like that. And what I think I wish the movie had done, even if you don't cover all the muses, is that the 2 like elderly muses who are these just sassy old Jewish women. One of which is Jackie Hoffman, because why not?
Okay.
They decide to be the ones that perpetuate the 2 of them falling in love because they know that it's wrong. So they're like the troublemakers in all of this, even though they're still working on helping this guy become an artist.
Because there's really not an antagonist in the film.
No. So they become the antagonist of the musical, technically.
Okay.
And they sing Evil Woman also by ELO.
Nice.
So they add some songs too. I don't think any songs are cut, but they put in more ELO songs.
Okay.
Did they add in Mr. Blue Sky?
They did not.
That's a mistake.
They did not.
Yeah.
The other thing, other than that, it's pretty much cut and dry. Like, I mean, what you see in the movie is what you get, with the exception of when they go to, and they, I believe, do call it Mount Olympus. It's like they bring out like a centaur, a flying horse, like all these different like gods that come out, and they're like, Zeus, let her go, you dick.
You
like,
fucking weirdo.
I don't think so. But I also appreciate when I saw it that there was a trap door in the floor that Sunny just like flies open and crawls out of. He's like, I made it.
Pretty much what the film was. He just
runs
roller skates straight into this mural.
It really does.
Yeah. But knowing now that their thing got pushed up, I have a feeling that's exactly why that scene looks the way it does.
Yeah, that makes
like,
so much more sense now.
No smoke at all, just some...
But we want you to skate as hard as you can into this wall. I know you're going to be concussed in real life, but we're going to cut it so it looks real good.
Really cool. Yeah. But
can I wear a helmet or something? No.
Absolutely not. But it did well. It was received well.
Do you know if the ending is the same?
I don't remember. I'm pretty sure she still... It ends with the roller disco, which seeing live is much more impressive than it is in the movie.
I fully believe that.
But I think there's ambiguity on... Or not ambiguity. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but it's not really clear whether or not they wind up together. If she ascends, if she, it just sort of ends with the end.
Ambiguity. Ambiguity's right. Yeah, you got it.
All right. Yeah, it did well. It was nominated. I'll tell you in a second for
Best musical.
4 Tony nominations and 6 Drama Desk Awards.
Wow. Did it win?
Well.
Yeah, and it won for Outstanding Book of a Musical for the Drama Desk Awards.
Okay.
It did not win any Tonys, but it was up for Best Musical, Best Book, Best Performance for the girl who was Olivia Newton-John, and Best Choreography.
And it ran
Good for them.
500 performances.
500. Okay.
It is fun. Like, I had a great time. They did it in Pittsburgh here recently too, at like the CLO, and it was out there too. I'm like, it's just a fun, like, I think because of the movie, you know exactly what you're getting when you go in.
Sure.
But there are no surprises.
I like that they're able to kind of like thumb their nose at the movie just enough.
Yeah.
That is nicely done.
Yeah. Do we want to break now or after the true crime segment?
We're already 45 minutes in. So you think maybe now would be a good time to take the break, and then we can do true crime and then into fix?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Oh boy. How we all know, fellas.
Olivia.
A little buzz now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She does have cankles though. I don't like to speak ill of the dead, but I was watching that tap dance and I was like, something's not right with her feet.
Oh no.
I was like, oh, it's cankles. And then throughout the rest of the movie, you never see her ankles again.
That's weird.
Which makes sense that was added in so much later. She always has like a ribbon on her foot or the leg warmers.
Yeah.
Or her skates are really, really high.
She dresses as like USO style performer.
She did have the USO look for a bit there. Yeah.
Can't really wear the leg warmers.
Right. Right.
In the little mini making of, they take credit for inventing the leg warmer look. Which I'm not sure if that's true or not.
That might be a bit much,
Yeah.
but
That's a stretch. But
the costumer had a lot to say.
I believe that. Was the costumer involved in a bunch of the crimes? No.
At least none that we're aware of. Could I bother you for some city water?
absolutely.
I feel like getting up.
If I could also bother you for some city water. Also, if there's more of that pink left,
There is not.
there's not. Okay.
Bring in more of the Snoop.
No, Snoop is also tapped.
That's probably the best.
Yeah. we don't need to get Les Mis drunk for this one. Oh man.
I think I might cut the portion on the Razzies. Save that for another episode.
Yeah, that's fair. Thank you.
I didn't go quite as deep into it as I wanted to anyway.
There you go.
Thank you. Yes.
Because I know we had talked about doing a deeper dive on like where the hell did this come from anyway.
Yeah.
So we can, we can save that for another time.
Yeah, I'll do the true crime and we'll go straight into the fix.
Sounds good to me.
Which I cannot remember what I did, so it's going to be
Surprise for everybody.
I did it in between doing my job and then becoming a cook.
Yeah, doing multiple jobs.
Yeah, I was like, I better write out the last part of the script, and I did. All right, we all ready?
Yeah.
Welcome back to DeRazzled, True Crime Edition, a podcast within a podcast that I didn't expect to be revisiting for a third time.
So quickly too. Like it's really it's alarming how fast we've been in true crime mode, considering what Mommy Dearest, the room, and now this.
Yeah.
We've hit a true crime hat trick stupidly fast for a stupid movie podcast.
We skipped over Superman Lives, which honestly, of those ones, I would have guessed that would have been.
You'd have thought considering John Peters' entire deal, but like no.
No, he just didn't get caught.
Well, no, we did talk. You know what? No, we did talk a little bit about how he got caught up in Heidi Fleiss's Hollywood Madam sting.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah, apparently, apparently John Peters was like the guy to go to at Sony in the early '90s if you wanted a lady.
Oh my
Yeah.
So, in July of 1983, a man looking for his stepson entered a neighbor's house and found two bodies, one of his stepson, Brian LeBlanc, age 21, and one of LeBlanc's cousin, Randall Perry. Sorry, I drank a lot of Snoop juice real quick. Randall Perry, age 19. The two men had been shot.
To start with murder. What?
Oh yeah, it's a lot. People died. So Randall Perry, age 19. The two men had been shot in the head at close range with a shotgun.
Jesus!
Xana, stop.
I'm sober now. What the fuck happened?
The man called the police, who then noticed blood stains on the front door of the home, 2 doors away. Police entered the home and found the body of Chester Perry, 48, in a crouched position in the living room. Grace Perry, age 47, and Anthony Bonin, age 2, were found dead in the kitchen. All also had shot in the head with a shotgun. We've slowly escalated.
Slowly?
5 dead bodies. We just talked about a Broadway musical.
So in Mommy Dearest, now we're getting into like the shit that I like. The shit that like I'll listen to when I'm making breakfast in the morning.
Rise from your grave.
I should have worn my last podcast.
I'm surprised you didn't.
It was dirty. Not home was Michael Owen Perry, the son of Chester and Grace, and the uncle of Anthony. Perry was also the cousin of Randall and Brian, so pretty clear who the main suspect is.
Mm-hmm.
What does not help is that he, at one point, had been unemployed oil field roustabout, which is their word, so I'm glad I got to say it.
Roustabout?
He was a roustabout.
That's a fun word. It's entirely too fun a word for the story you're telling.
Which is fine, but he had also been in and out of mental hospitals.
Oh, well.
It's just, neither here nor there, except when you kill 5 people.
Well, I mean,
very much here then.
It's kind of here, honestly. I agree, Caleb. It's very here.
You see, Perry had written a number of rambling letters to singer Dame Olivia Newton-John. Some praised her, while others threatened her.
I really hope these 5 people didn't die over Xanadu.
I can neither confirm nor deny what specific movie pushed it over the edge. I will say that this was 3 years after that movie. But
so he watched it on loop for 3 years?
Since it was 83, I don't think VHS was out yet. So
okay.
Played in the theater. Or
he just got madder.
He probably just played the vinyl over and over.
That could be it. Yeah.
According to the documentary, Hopelessly Devoted to You, possibly, I did so much research in trying to find the original source to this information. So everything I just told you, I read straight from the newspaper clippings.
Okay.
Everything, this little bit here is from the quote-unquote documentary. Olivia received letters from Michael. He believed that he was a god and she was a goddess. She received a collage of photos of herself, each one having their eyes scratched away. And that sounds like super salacious. That's why I was like, I want to find the original source, and I could not find it. So take that with a grain of salt. It's Little Red Dragon.
A little bit. Just a touch.
Anyway, back to documented land. On August 2nd, 1983, in Washington, D.C., a man hailed a police car and said, "My radio was stolen by the man in the hotel."
What?
A man was like, hey, you, this asshole stole my radio in that hotel over there.
Okay.
So the police were like, all right, we'll do our job.
I guess.
Yes.
Ugh.
The fucking paperwork. And they were like, hey, did you steal this guy's radio? And they were like, he was like, yeah.
What are you going to do about it?
And these several small TV sets.
What?
So they arrested him, and that was Michael Owen Perry. He had stolen a bunch of radios and TVs in Washington, D.C.
So he could watch Xanadu 3 times.
On all the TVs at once.
Yeah, simultaneously.
Uh,
One TV for his face and one for each of his ears.
let me remind you that the crimes occurred in Louisiana, where he was captured in Washington, D.C.
Wow. Okay.
That far.
So they ran. Yeah, he did for himself.
That's not the phrase to use, Jack.
Good runner.
Oh God, he Forrest Gumped it. I just kept on running.
So they did just a regular old background check. Actually did their jobs. Cut that, Joe. I don't need to have those emails.
I'm not cutting that. Are you kidding me?
Actually did their fucking job.
Yes.
They ran the fucking background check. And gosh, they were sure surprised when they saw that Louisiana had warrants out charging for the deaths of his mother, father, 2 cousins, and a 2-year-old.
Well, shit, Earl, look at this. It's a good thing we didn't go to the bar.
Like they're from DC, but you're giving it a southern accent.
I wasn't trying to, honestly.
Just
I think I might switch into a southern accent if I found out this guy just murdered.
Just involuntarily.
Maybe he'll forget who I was.
Yes. Okay. It's time for me. Time for me to sit down and do my reading. I'm just going to enjoy my newspaper here. What the fuck is this?
So Louisiana police, now that they, have a little bit to go on, searched Perry's trailer. Found a piece of paper with a list of names on it. Names that included Olivia Newton-John and Judge Sarah Day O'Connor, who was the first woman appointed to
Sandra Day O'Connor. Yeah. That is a leap. From Olivia Newton-John to Sandra Day O'Connor.
There's a reason, and I'll get to it.
Oh, no.
It's not a good reason.
All right.
But it is
really?
It is important to know that she was the first one appointed to the
Supreme Court. Yes.
The other names on the list included murdered family members, so check. Each, and this is creepy as fuck, each having the word, he didn't use checks or scratch the names out like a normal person. He wrote Sky beside each name.
Sky?
Yeah, like,
Well, he sent them to the sky like angels?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel dirty.
Yeah. So to make it even creepier, Perry, during one of his stays in the mental hospital, told a doctor that, quote, no woman should be above a man. Possibly indicating why O'Connor would be on the list.
Okay.
So he was guilty.
Okay.
Good.
And put on death row.
Okay.
But the story doesn't end there. And actually, that's why this story is famous. Not because he watched Xanadu and felt the urge to kill. That's normal. But because of the court case that occurred afterwards.
Okay.
So in a predating court case, I'm far too tipsy for this, but I'm going to push this.
Just push through. It's okay.
Per Ford versus Wainwright, a psychotic inmate who does not have an understanding of what is about to occur is not competent to be executed and therefore cannot be executed. The complex issues of forcibly medicating an individual to make him competent for execution posed in Perry versus Louisiana, which is why this became famous.
Yeah.
Illustrates the conflict between the judicial interest in imposing capital punishment for certain murderers and the medical physician's Hippocratic oath not to give poison. Medical ethics are also primarily guided by the Hippocratic aphorism, first do no harm.
Yes.
So, because of that, even though he was up for execution, he had for years rejected his medication. Did I write that right down?
Thus making it so that he was ineligible because he could not comprehend.
Correct. So what happened to him was, since he was kind of in like a weird legal limbo, they put him in solitary confinement.
I had a feeling that's what you were going to say. Yeah.
Which is where he is to this very day.
Wow.
Should we go?
I'm good.
Just sit outside his room and go, you have to believe we are magic.
You feel like killing? You feel like killing yet?
Holy shit.
Him and one other inmate have a lawsuit out trying to like say that solitary confinement is inhumane and all that stuff.
There's an argument for that, but also like you killed your whole fucking family, dude, and you were gonna kill a whole bunch of other people. Like,
also, Rolf now killed his 8-year-old, severely disabled stepbrother with an axe because he was trying to prevent him from watching an important TV show where Olivia Newton-John was apparently giving him signals.
Come again?
Olivia Newton-John tells people to kill, their brothers.
I did hear this
on the TV.
Yeah.
Do you have any brothers?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, to be fair, that is what I got out of Greece, but I don't have any brothers.
Yeah. I got away.
Jesus Christ!
So my research into Xanadu got way darker than I expected.
Yeah, and how?
There's also like another part where one of her husbands may have been like a drug dealer and he disappeared.
One of Newton-John's husbands?
Yeah. I didn't read too much into it because it was more like gossipy unless
Well, you had all these murders to read about.
Right. I was like, these have a little bit more direct contact with Xanadu, whereas that just has more to do with like her romantic life, which is which is very, very happy living in Australia. Well, not anymore.
Not anymore. Again, we established already. Rest in peace. Christ almighty.
Woof. Just gonna take a moment for myself.
Yeah.
I think he's just managed to get us canceled. Fuck.
That's all it took? Shit. Now I'm on the true crime way sooner. Oh my god. It's good wine. We'll finish it off now.
Oh god.
As we go into the fix, the part I am least prepared to do.
All right. Again, you have specifically stated you don't want to do this.
Let's fix this.
Oh, no, where did you get that?
Not make him do.
I can't tell you how many shows I did in college where they're like, well, what kind of gift would you want for your director's gift? And I was like, ice pick. And they would stop asking. So I had to go get it myself.
No one give it to me.
No.
He has a list in the back. Names that just say sky.
Scratch.
I hate all of that.
Sandra Day O'Connor. Fuck. Hey, let's make Xanadu even better.
Let's please. Let's do that now.
So, going along with our newer format for DeRazzled, we're going with more of an elevator pitch than a full
fix.
Script.
Yeah, we're not gonna do a full treatment kind of thing that we had been
Kevin
doing.
Smith treatment.
The Kevin Smith version of an outline where it's 80 fucking pages long.
So as I said, I liked this movie.
Yeah.
I don't really want to do a whole lot to fix it. I do think there's a couple things that could be fixed, though. One of the first things I want to do is switch out the director.
Interesting.
Wouldn't you know, all the directors I wanted were fucking busy.
I'm curious who's on that list.
Unfortunately, what stands between your desire to know that and my knowledge is a wall of inebriism.
So you don't have that written down.
That is correct.
Okay, let's move on.
I know I looked at Rocky Horror.
Okay.
And I think I looked at like whoever's directing Grease. What was worse was all of the actors I wanted were also very busy.
God damn.
Yeah.
The early 80s, man.
Mm-hmm. Well, like John Travolta, as I said earlier, he was busy. I even looked at young Christopher Walken because he can roller skate and can dance, as we saw in the
Fat Boy Slim video, yeah.
Which I rewatched, and he can dance.
But he's also just alien. And goofy.
I think he's a trained like ballroom dancer.
I would not be surprised.
Like that, yeah.
That sounds correct.
He was. I don't know if you remember what movie we already covered at that time. That he would have been so.
Oh my God! No, you're right. He was neck deep in Heaven's Gate. Yeah. No, that would not have been possible.
I think he was already doing a second project on top of that.
Probably. He's a busy boy.
Who was not busy?
Who wasn't busy?
And who had just started acting, and was in Skate Town, USA.
Oh.
Patrick Swayze.
Oh shit! I didn't know Patrick Swayze was in Skate Town, USA.
Now I want to say this is true, but I also had a lot of Snoop juice. I want to say there's a skating scene, which is like not only can I know he can dance, but he can also skate and he can also act. Because I want to say is it the Greasers? No. Yes.
The Outsiders?
The Outsiders, thank you.
Yes.
That was like 2 years after this.
Yeah.
So
good movie.
He can do all the things.
Yeah.
I want to say he's skating and he takes his belt off and uses it as like a whip. And I'm going to pull the scene up for you guys later.
I'm on board.
This is from Skate Town?
This is from Skate Town.
Okay, yeah, I absolutely need to see that.
And the only reason I hesitate to cast him is because I think he might overshadow Olivia Newton-John. Or
he might elevate her. He might push her.
Yeah, because I feel like she was a little muted in this film as far as her performance goes. Like her singing and dancing was fine.
Yeah. But she had Swayze to act off of.
And I would love to see what Swayze and Gene Kelly are like.
Oh my God, could you fucking imagine?
Yeah. So that's the actor I'm switching out Michael
back for. Okay.
Now I'm going to take you on a journey.
Please.
It's a very short journey.
Okay.
It's more of a walk across the street.
Okay, let's go. Yeah.
As I said, all of the directors I looked at.
Super busy.
Including Francis Ford Coppola.
Oh my God. Wait, Coppola? Yeah. That's a hell of a pull.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
So he was, I want to say, working on a movie called One from the Heart.
Okay.
Which was a movie musical.
I did not know that.
It was a passion project. And do you know why that movie is important?
Not really.
So Ford Coppola had created this company called Zoetrope. And Zoetrope was meant to be a studio that gave young, upcoming, new Hollywood directors a place to do their projects, do their passion projects, however they wanted. It was going to be like, you are a director, you have full power here. Which is cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, he made a series of bad financial decisions. One of them was THX 113, which I really enjoyed, but was, not a great financial investment.
Sure.
What ultimately sank that studio was One from the Heart.
That killed the studio entirely. Yeah. Oh, shit.
That came out, and I want to say 1980. It was either 80 or 81. Unless we told him not to do that and to do Xanadu instead with Patrick Swayze and Olivia Newton-John.
So Francis Ford Coppola attached to direct Patrick Swayze and Olivia Newton-John and Gene Kelly.
And a roller disco musical.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Now, I have not watched One from the Heart because frankly, the goal he was reaching for with the Zoetrope, American Zoetrope, connects with me so hard that I'm like, I don't really want to watch the movie that sank your dream.
Fair. I do get that. Yeah.
Especially because like all the movies on either side of that movie are perfect. Like he has like 5 perfect movies.
Shit.
The Conversation, Apocalypse Now, Godfather Part 1 and Part 2.
Yeah.
And obviously Jack starring Robin Williams.
Masterpiece. Just
that farting in a jar scene.
I haven't thought about that movie in so long.
Yeah, that movie happened because one from the heart.
Oh my god.
Because he didn't have any money then.
Yeah. Oh, buddy.
So, with Francis Ford Coppola in charge and Patrick Swayze as lead, he could punch the Universal producers in the face and say, no, we're not moving the release date up. We're keeping it as is. Fuck you. I make my own wine, like Snoop Dogg.
Like Snoop.
Let me be clear, Snoop Dogg did not actually make that wine.
No, I'm pretty sure I saw him making it.
Oh, you saw him?
Yeah, that was the thing you put up on your phone. You
Yeah.
like watch the label.
To make the the Snoop juice. There's just something about that makes it dirty. I don't know. Oh no.
I don't know if this is true enough. I read a Cracked article once that said the only reason he even still makes music is to pay for his football coaching. He's just like the thing he's most passionate about is like coaching kids.
I'm not sure if he still does that at this point.
He's a
But
little on the other side.
Yeah, he was doing that for a while though. Like he quit smoking weed to like coach his kids' football team.
Yeah, it was like the thing he was most passionate about.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, nice.
Thanks, Snoop.
Thanks, Snoop. The number of like older women I've heard say they want to fuck the shit out of Snoop is uncomfortable.
Yeah, especially considering I'm pretty sure there were rape allegations brought up against him around Super Bowl time.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's the thing that happened earlier this year. I don't know. I don't know more than that, but other than those allegations came up.
Cool. I would also hire a different DP. And like,
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
the DP who worked on Xanadu isn't even a bad DP. Like I've looked at his filmography, and he did some other like pretty decent films, but I don't know if he was just like napping that day.
Maybe like this was his one for the studio that he didn't really like, give a shit
could be.
about.
Yeah, and I would like to have looked through and found a better DP for this project, but I was busy quitting my job. So
That's fair.
I leave it up to you, the viewer, to decide yourself. And now we're entering the narrative fix, a section I don't remember writing, and can probably barely read. Hold on to your butts. What is the movie missing?
Horses.
Tension.
Lasers. Oh.
Yes, you said it. Tension. Specifically, tension between artists. Now, artists are the best people in the world, in my opinion. I have never been happier when I've been surrounded by artists, but holy shit, are they a pain in the ass. Exhibit A, this room. So, myself included, obviously. So you want to build tension in your script. To do so, everyone needs wants, starting with Kira, which that was narratively the biggest issue I had. It was like she was basically there just to service Sonny.
Like her want was for him to succeed in a creative capitalistic endeavor, which is barely a want, and it's certainly not like a want that's at all related to her.
Correct. So, Kira, terpsichore, terpsichore, after years of helping sad boy artists, wants nothing more than to become a singer.
Okay.
And what I like about this is that like terpsichore is the muse of dance, but what she wants to do is sing. So there's a little bit of conflict within herself.
Wants to become a double threat, you see.
Yeah. It's triple threat.
Singing, dancing, acting. Yeah.
Do we know any of those?
Just me.
Just you.
Just Caleb. Yeah.
She is indeed the same woman who sang on Gene Kelly's album.
Sure.
And this is the only copy of her singing that exists on like the human plane.
Okay.
And by all accounts, anybody who's ever heard this singer, it's like otherworldly.
Yeah.
But nobody knew so what she is. Zeus is also not terribly happy that she had her talents captured in this way. Sunny, who is now an architect and not a charcoal artist or a fella who draws big albums, wants to specifically run a place that caters to the oddity that is the artist.
An art-related career that actually involves buildings and such.
Yeah.
Let's say something like American Zoetrope. Yeah.
Ah.
He's not actually making American Zoetrope, but that way, Ford Coppola will be like, oh, I relate to this character. I can,
Yeah.
As for the sake of the film, it's a Californian
it's San
Mobius.
Francisco, not I don't know where's UCLA.
It's LA.
Oh, Jack.
Oh, no.
You don't know the English, please do.
Oh God!
This is why I don't drink wine. Hey, where's UCLA?
Outstanding.
Anyway, so he's got some writer's block, right? He's still doing designs for his boss, who is in this version his uncle. His uncle who first housed him and gave him his first job when he moved to LA. So there's a little bit of familial pressure there.
Yeah.
Gene Kelly busks on the beach unintentionally. He just wants people to he just wants to be in a place where people can hear his music, but nobody cares. They just think he's busking. He's more of one of those local oddities, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in Bloomfield we had Bumper Bike Guy.
Oh, did we ever? Yeah.
So
he hugged me once.
I'm sorry.
I showered twice afterward. No offense to him, but he had not bathed in quite some time.
No.
Not important.
Do you ever meet Bumper Bike Guy?
No.
Okay. Well, for the audience,
first moved experience.
So Bumper Bike Guy was a guy who had a bike but had taken a car bumper and strapped it to the front of his bike.
Yes.
I always assumed it was so that he could not get hit by a car, but he also did ride on the sidewalk, which was
really annoying.
Really annoying and difficult. We have a number of those type of characters, and in this, you have Gene Kelly who plays a clarinet on the beach.
Yeah.
Just a local character.
Yeah, the seaside clarinetist.
Yeah. So it's while he's lamenting his failed clarinetist career that he meets Sonny.
Okay.
You see, Gene also has a bit of writer's block, and has had it since his band broke up in the 40s. Wow. Okay. It is a surprise to Sonny that this stranger is filthy rich, because everybody just assumes he's a bum on the beach.
Yeah, I think he's playing for money. He's playing for passion.
Right, but not so rich that if Xanadu fails, he wouldn't go bankrupt. It is a financial danger for him to invest in this place.
Well, of course, otherwise there's no tension there for him.
Yes. So, and a lot of this sticks to the plot of Xanadu. So whatever I skip over, just assume it's in there.
Yeah, sure.
So Sonny and Kira, they fall for each other. The three of them agree to go in on constructing Xanadu. So she can sing, he can build his dream building, and Gene Kelly, Danny McGuire, can have a place to restart his band. Yeah. Now that they're all suddenly charged with creative juices for some reason.
Interesting that he wants to get the band back together. That's a good. I like that change.
However, when the building is finished, Kira is called back to Zeus. He's like, you did the job. Come back home.
Zeus is a bit of a deadbeat dad. That's my addition to this.
He's too busy out there. He's too busy out there disguising himself as animals, trying to attract women. It's just
pissing on people.
Also pissing on people.
Listen, Zeus is like the deadbeat dad.
Yes,
He's kind of gross.
Yeah.
Anyway. Destroyed, Sonny decides he's done with the Xanadu. He's too heartbroken. He can't do it. This causes trouble between him and Danny. Worse, when Kira leaves, both believe they now have writer's block again. And they're like, she was the muse. Like, she was the only thing that was able to get rid of this writer's block, which is, of course, not true. The solution is Sonny gets over his selfish behavior and opens the club without Jean or Kira. At the opening, he plays the record that Kira is captured on. So the one that we heard in Gene Kelly's mansion.
Okay.
Gene surprises him by playing a modernized version along with the record. Kira also arrives to sing with it. Both men credit the return of their ability to her, but she reveals she is no longer a muse. Just another struggling artist like them. She's given up being a muse.
She's stepped down from Olympus permanently. Okay.
I don't remember writing any of this, so. Which explains why I left so much out.
I mean, well, like you said, you were trying to leave
everything else still happened. It was just
I think the one thing that I don't think is well covered in that fix is the confrontation with Zeus. I still feel like there should still be some moment, whether it might not need to be Sonny in particular. It could just be more of a confrontational scene between Kira and Zeus.
Yeah, especially with a step down, like leaving everything you've ever known.
Her "fuck you, I quit" moment.
Yeah. So like what I want to do in this version, and something I mentioned in the first part, is that I want her to reveal herself as a muse way earlier.
Right. Yeah, you did mention that.
Think of this as Disney's Aladdin, but if Aladdin wanted to fuck the genie.
I'm on board.
So what I've always wanted. Okay.
Yeah. So initially he doesn't realize Kira is magical, but pretty soon he realizes that.
Yeah.
You turn those mannequins into weird 80s dancers. Okay, I got you. Got you.
You can disappear and move as a laser.
Right.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I picked up on that.
Yeah.
I'm an observant artist.
But yeah, I definitely want to see like the Electric Zeus malt liquor scenes.
Yes, absolutely.
I like that.
I kind of want to push the movie's already kind of over the top, but it also tries to be sensible at times.
At times.
We don't need that.
You're ripping the top off.
Yeah.
This would be hell with the lid off. Okay.
Yeah. You've already asked your audience to suspend their disbelief so much. Just go for it.
Lean in.
Like lean into it. Like I feel like at parts, especially when we were talking about, they wish they had more time to do the effects more elaborately.
Give them the time.
Well, I mean, give them the time, but also like don't worry about making it look more realistic.
Yeah, like really lean into how over the top and like and bright and vibrant it all is.
Yeah.
More lasers.
What I want is Rocky Horror, but on skates and disco
and cocaine.
And cocaine. Yeah. I'm sure there's plenty of cocaine on the Rocky.
Most likely, yeah.
But more.
Double it.
More.
So, what do you think of the fix?
I like the fix.
I like it. Yeah, I like its I like the willingness to lean into what this movie really is, which is a buck wild laser light show clusterfuck.
Yeah.
Which like there's nothing wrong with that. That's not a bad thing. Be earnest about it.
Right.
I thoroughly like shifting Sonny out of the record industry and into a career that makes actual sense for somebody who's going to be renovating a building. And
that building was a historic site.
Yeah. And so he would have like a real appreciation and know-how for how to work with that kind of space if he was an architect, and would hopefully make things in the interior make more sense.
Yeah. throughout the movie, like I was expecting like to when Xanadu was done to like walk in and see like murals all over the wall and like the wall like all of his art.
Nada.
It's gold.
Yeah.
It's just gold. It's just gold, and there's a bunch of different troops of dancers that are extreme tone whiplash from one to the next. Yeah. I think shifting the focus away from like that like hodgepodge roller disco idea and having it be more of like the stage setting that that Danny kind of imagines in the actual movie. Like he talks about having the stage set up and having the big band and all that, and trying to bring that aesthetic back. Having him actually follow through on that, and then in the last minute modernize it out of the inspiration of that lost record being played. I think that's a powerful moment. I think that works way better than the opening night of the club that we get, because that's just kind of a mishmash of stuff that like just does not flow together.
So what happened was, I forget who it was that they had bring those people in, but they're like, make it as wild as possible.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, all right, well, I know jugglers, I know tightrope walkers, I know blah, 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 blah.
I just got a truckload of mimes that's on
So
standby.
they just brought them all in to make it as wild as possible, and it just did not click. And I'm hoping that with making Xanadu more of a place that's open to all forms of art, that would make more sense.
Yeah.
Or you could cut it entirely.
Yeah, either way. Like, you have the option.
I wrote this before I knew anything about the musical, the stage play. I probably would incorporate the antagonists of
the other muses.
I think that was one of the weak points of the film as well. They didn't really interact with the other muses at all.
Right. No.
So yeah, I think that would have definitely been a good addition as well.
Everything else that I like about the music is more like satire from the film, which wouldn't make sense to have within the film itself.
But having even those two, because even in the musical, their parts are not big. They were big names to like get people to like come in. You know what I mean? But it wasn't like they were huge. It was like, hey, we're gonna set up this to help you get there.
Right.
Sure.
We'll pop in and say funny lines every now and
then. The other muses, not the two that were two antagonists, were they kind of like the chorus in like Disney's Hercules, where they sang in between the transitions.
Yep.
I could be into that.
Yeah.
That would work.
They were the Greek chorus.
You said they were like the company, basically. Yeah.
There's no one else in it except the muses and the main characters.
Yeah, I would be down to keep them in.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Cool. It sounds like we did fix it.
Yeah.
I think so. I think we got there.
Again, I didn't really want to fix it too much.
Yeah. I think like IMDb, I think we break a 6, maybe break a 6.5.
Yeah.
Which is like solid range for IMDb. I think we certainly get out of the 20 range on the critic score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Do you think we're still nominated for the 1980 Razzies?
I want to say no, but I feel like I need to watch the rest of those nominees, which I know we're going to get to throughout the coming seasons and whatnot.
Nominations that they got?
The one that won was Don't Stop the Music, which I don't think any of us.
What were the ones that Xanadu was nominated for? It was actor, actress,
worst picture, worst actress, worst
screenplay,
actor, worst screenplay, worst song,
director,
worst director, which it won.
Yeah.
With your fixes, the only thing that would still apply, I think, would be worst song. But if we have a different director, that song might be more interesting.
Imagine them nominating Francis Ford Coppola for worst director for this.
Besides Stanley Kubrick and Brian De Palma.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all buddies. They would have found out. Oh, and William freaking. Yeah. Maybe I'll do a double feature for myself. Skate Town USA, Cruising.
Perfect.
You got yourself a Labor Day you'll never forget.
Wonderful. Well, Caleb, thank you for joining us for once again for Xanadu.
Of course.
I don't know how we're going to top this one next year, but we'll think of something. Would you like to sell your wares?
Yes. So if you want to check out my podcast, Making a Martini, up dry and straight to the point, we are available on all podcast streaming platforms. We cover different topics. It's quite a spectrum. We've talked about sex, we've talked about voting, we've talked about Grease 2. Romy and Michelle's high school reunion, someone just brought up to me.
Excellent.
That was a fun one. Daylight savings time, which is apparently pretty current right now, I guess.
Yeah.
Like something's actually happening. So over the course, it's been a lot. I drink and then usually have someone on that I consider knowledgeable.
Hell yeah.
That I find funny.
It's a solid podcast.
Yeah.
Give it a listen. And you can find us all kinds of places.
You can, yeah. I mean,
behind
you're
you.
listed out. We're right behind you. We've always been there.
We're not sniffing your hair. Shut the fuck
We've
up.
been there the whole time. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, Stitcher, wherever you listen to podcasts, wherever you're listening to us right now. You can find us on social media at DeRazzled Pod on Twitter, at DeRazzled Podcast on Facebook, at DeRazzled_podcast on Instagram, and Dullboy_Jack on TikTok. You can also email us at DeRazzledPodcast@gmail.com if you have suggestions for things you'd like to see us cover, whether it be regular episodes or second unit episodes, or if you want to see particular merch get made, which will be sold on our Redbubble store at DeRazzled Merch. And of course, be sure to rate and review us to help us get up into those search rankings higher and help people discover us so that we can continue to build our audience. Now that we are firmly in our second year of podcasting, not just our second season, but our second actual calendar year of podcasting, we want to get into more and more people's ears because we still love what we do. We still love you guys listening to us, and we want more people to have fun with us here.
You betcha.
I want you guys into other people's ears too.
Hell yeah.
Bathhouse.
Yep, you're all those words and more. But you know what? You should really join us next time. We'll be sure to
Razzle dazzle ya.
Yeah, we will.
You'll
I appreciated the random yard.
You looked at me and I was like, fuck, well, let's say something.
Like maybe I should make words.